Fastlane. I mean, what a show that was. It has been a while that I didn't see a pay-per-view that has this high caliber of matches, and it was just a joy to see. The wrestling in this show was really good. But then there is the other side of the show that just makes you think, like, why would WWE do that? The two storylines that the people have been really enamored with, they have been behind these people, Becky Lynch and Kofi Kingston, they just have to fuck things up, When it comes to these two, especially when it comes to things that the fans like, they always have to screw things up. First it started, with Kofi, going to Vince McMahon and doing all that spiel. And the booking of Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, I was like, why? Why would you do that? Ronda Rousey had been shooting, I guess from a week now, after she did that promo on her YouTube channel. She said those stuff, I don't follow the script, I do whatever I want. And then she comes into the match and she cost Charlotte Flair the match in such a shitty way that she wasn't a shooter, like she didn't destroy anyone. I was like, okay, if she's coming into the match, she attacks Charlotte Flair and attacks Becky Lynch, and then she destroys both of them, but because she attacked Charlotte first, then we know that the match is going to be a triple threat, then yes, but she didn't do that. It was just like a low caliber attacks, and she was just standing there like, uh-oh, I messed up. Why? The story started so beautifully. From SummerSlam, when Becky Lynch turned on Charlotte Flair, we have been all behind Becky Lynch. So, she had the heel turn that the people loved and the people wanted to support, Becky Lynch. And at the beginning, they wanted to push her as the heel, but they knew that it's not working because the crowd loves Becky Lynch so much. It was another case of the New Day, back in the day when they turned heel, they became so entertaining, then the fans just were behind the New Day. That they had to turn them babyface. And that's what happened there. Because of the fans. They wanted to listen to the fans and they wanted to do, give them what they want. Isn't that like what every company seeks? If you have a company and you know that, your supporters, your customers, your viewers, they love something, then you want them to have that thing so you can keep them happy and make more money. But that doesn't work for WWE because they have their millions, they have their TV deals, they don't care about the house show business, and they just want to do whatever they want. Not them. I should say Vince McMahon, he wants to do the things that he wants. It's his company, he wants to control everything. And when something happens that is not his choosing, when something happens that the fans want it to happen, in the storylines and the booking or whatever, he doesn't like it. And then they overbook shit. The Kofi Kingston coming in at the beginning of the show, congratulating Kevin Owens at the beginning. He shook his hand. He said, you know what, I'm not mad at you. Because he heard him say, over and over again, he feels bad for Kofi Kingston. But Vince McMahon gave him the opportunity and he's doing this for his family. So it's kind of, reasonable. He's not a heel yet. I feel like Kevin Owens is going to be a heel very soon. But for him to say those stuff and for Kofi Kingston to accept that, that's a nice touch. If they kept it there, just Kofi Kingston congratulating Kevin Owens, on the next episode of Smackdown, they make a case, they plead to Vince McMahon. The same thing that we saw when the New Day rammed into Vince McMahon's office. They told him this man deserves to be in the main event. He deserves to have the WWE title. For 12 years, he has been given and given for WWE. Even after that boom drop that he had on Randy Orton in 2009 at Madison Square Garden. Like, people thought, well, that's his chance now. He needs to be in the main event picture. But because of the stupid Randy Orton, situation that happened in the ring, he was pushed down. I mean, Randy, man, he did some stuff in his career. I like him now. He's a really cool dude. He's very entertaining on social media. Even his storyline with AJ Styles, when he denigrates him. Like on SmackDown, AJ Styles was like, no, Kofi Kingston deserves to get the WWE title. And then Randy Orton comes in. He was like, the first week was like the house that, what? And then the next week he says, now I get it why it took you 15 years to come to WWE. He's awesome now. Apparently the talents backstage, they love Randy Orton. He's very supportive and he wants to be, part of the team. But before, we all know the story of Mr. Kennedy, where he backdropped him badly. It didn't look that bad, but I guess because he had neck surgery or back surgery, I don't remember which one it was, but that cost him his job. which made him go to TNA. So anyways, so the Kofi Kingston stuff. The New Day has their match on the pre-show against Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. The match was good. The match was fun. At the beginning, it was boring a little bit because it was slow and they were just, getting themselves over. And also in the middle of the fucking match. Like, they do this all the time on the kickoff show. If you have a match on the kickoff, we saw that in the last pay-per-view with Buddy Murphy and Akira Tozawa. They had the Cruiserweight title match. And then they go backstage. They show segments backstage, people talking. I was like, what the fuck? Can't you just respect the match? Show me the match. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see backstage stuff. Like, do the backstage stuff before the match starts or after the match starts. That's it. I mean, after the match is done, not after the match starts, because that's what happened here. We see The Miz, talking to his dad. I'm gonna make you proud, Daddy. I'm doing this for you. In front of my hometown crowd. I want to do everything right here. Jesus, like, what are they doing? Anyways, they come back into the ring. Xavier Woods went back first into the floor with a body throw from Rusev and Nakamura that looked nasty. He wasn't the accolade, Rusev's finisher, but Xavier, went to the ropes. And Nakamura here did New Japan stuff that I see a lot, in which he pulled the ropes, so Xavier Woods will have, a lot more space to reach and grab the ropes. Like, usually in WWE, when someone does that, the referee stops them. Like, you can't do that in WWE, but this time the referee was cool with it. I don't know why. Anyways, Big E took him out while he was doing that. Then we saw the New Day's finisher, all of a sudden when they go into the ring, up, up, down, down, on Rusev, and they get the win. So Rusev got pinned in the match. Well, that wasn't surprising to me, because Rusev had been very outspoken on social media, saying stuff like, oh, you may not see me last in WWE, or making fun of Ronda Rousey and stuff. Like, Rusev, he's out of control. I don't know if he talks with the social media people in WWE and they let him do it, just like what Ronda Rousey did. But these stuff doesn't bode well for you. Like, these stuff are bad. And maybe they're punishing him for it. Maybe. Also, something else happened on the show. And that's the Andrade Rey Mysterio match. It was changed into a fatal 4-way match for the U.S. title. And that included R-Truth, Samoa Joe, too. So R-Truth and Samoa Joe, they were in the match for the U.S. title, and they decided to put that match on the main card. Sam Roberts, he was very critical of Bianca Belair last time, at the last takeover, and I hated him for it. I talked about this, I ranted about this, of what he said when he buried Bianca Belair. But over here, this dude was dropping facts on the pre-show panel. Or the kickoff show, whatever it's called. Yeah, can someone answer me this? Like, why is it called the pre-show sometimes, and sometimes it's called the kickoff show? Is there a reason? Is it a pre-show because it's the big four? Or the kickoff show is only for the small pay-per-views? I don't get it. Anyways. So, he was dropping facts on the panel. He said Becky Lynch should get the title shot at WrestleMania because she won the Royal Rumble. A Roman Reigns story is idiotic because when the Shield got disbanded, when Roman Reigns went away, basically Dean Ambrose said Roman deserves to get leukemia, and now he wants to get the band back. I said exactly that on the previous episode 194. I said this doesn't make any sense. And this guy was dropping knowledge, and I loved it because usually, like, yes men and women are on the panel. They talk about, this is a feel-good story. David Otunga and the coachman, they're talking about, no, but this is like, sometimes you just want a feel-good story. I was like, what the fuck? Like, answer the dude. If he's talking facts, you want to make sense out of this? Answer us, the viewers, why did these storylines happen? And nothing. They just blow him off. Also, something else happened on the show. On the pre-show, basically, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, they were talking to each other, and all of a sudden, Ec3 shows up out of nowhere. He wanted to talk to Mandy Rose. He was trying to team up with her, talk with her nicely and do all that. And Sonya Deville, this thing happens in real life, okay? Let's say you're going out, you're single, okay, you're going out, you see a hot chick, but this hot chick, she has a friend with her, and that friend, looks ugly. I don't know about Sonya Deville, but Sonya Deville, she's kind of good looking, but Mandy Rose is hot, okay? So in real life, you go and talk to the hot chick, you want to get to know her, and the hot chick, you can sense that she doesn't mind it. She likes it. She wants to talk with you and have fun. But then that ugly girl, she ruins everything because she doesn't get the attention, and then she feels like, she's left out, so she ruins everything on you. And that's what happened here. It had some realism in it. So she bullied EC3 even though he was trying to get, with Mandy Rose. And I think they can be a good pair, If they are together, EC3 and Mandy Rose, they can be something special. They should be together. But then Sonya Deville was like, she basically said, yeah, take a hike. Then EC3 was like, then Sonya did. Like, that happened. I'm serious. So EC3 went away. And the man who never talked on Monday Night Raw, even he showed up on SmackDown backstage when Samoa Joe saw him. That was funny. So yeah, the guy never talked on Monday Night Raw on the main roster, and now when he's talking to Mandy Rose, like the couple of lines that they gave to EC3, that was great. Like, he delivers those lines like seamlessly. He's great at doing that. But to be booked like this and to be denigrated, I was like, why? But then I understood why next when I watched Asuka versus Mandy Rose. That was, first of all, as it wasn't good at all. So at the beginning, Sonya Deville was trying to interfere a couple of times. She was playing the role of Jado with Jay White and the Bullet Club. When there's an interference on the outside, it's never good. The matches never turn out to be good. There is like a distraction, and we don't like that. So, until Asuka slapped the shit out of Mandy Rose because she was botching stuff. And I don't know if that was a shoot or it was part of the match. And then she took control with a hip attack, but Mandy Rose moved away. She kneed Asuka to the face. We saw a pop-up knee strike to Mandy Rose. Sonya took out a kendo stick. So as she was taking out the kendo stick, when she pulled the apron out, Mandy Rose ran to the ropes. She slipped on the apron that Sonya Deville pulled, and Asuka did the Asuka kick and won the match. So Mandy Rose lost the match because of Sonya Deville. And that's going to break them up soon. She wasn't happy after the match. Sonya was trying to talk with her. And I think the finish was creative. Some people didn't like that, but I thought the finish was very creative. So there is a reason that Sonya Deville went to take the kendo stick, because she wanted to help Mandy Rose. But by doing that, she cost Mandy Rose the match. That was smart. I should give it to WWE. That was very smart. Whoever booked the match, he should be booking more. So let's start on the first match on the show. Okay, I've been going up and down a little bit, but now I'm just gonna continue from the main card, and that is the Usos versus Miz and Shane McMahon for the Smackdown Tag Team titles. The match sucked at the beginning. It wasn't good, especially with Shane McMahon in the ring. Shane doing awful punches. And then Miz and Shane McMahon together did those punches together on one of the Usos. That was just garbage. When the Usos were on offense, it was good. The Miz selling and Shane McMahon selling. It's good. We saw the Miz doing a flying front body, front body, not like a cross body, but a front body. He did that to the floor, and that actually looked good. I know it's dangerous. He can get injured. He's gonna mess things up, but that looked nice. Jey Uso did a Samoan drop on The Miz that nearly decapitated The Miz. Like, he was so close to land on his head because he doesn't know how to sell, he doesn't know where to be in position, that's why. But thankfully, he rotated at the last second and he landed safely. We saw a skull-crushing finale, but because Shane was in the ring, the referee was tending to him, and we saw a visual pin for The Miz. I think it was even like a 5 count. Then the referee saw it. He did 1-2, but the Uso kicked out. I think it was Jey Uso who kicked out. Shane McMahon was on one of the turnbuckles and Jey Uso was on another one, so they were facing each other. As Jey was about to do a splash on The Miz, Shane McMahon jumps off, does the coast to coast, and kicks Jey Uso mid-air, and that looked amazing. That looked really good. Then Jimmy does a roll-up on The Miz, and they retain the SmackDown Tag Team titles. At the beginning, it wasn't good, but by the end, it became really good. So after the match, we see The Miz, he tended to Shane McMahon. He was like, I'm sorry, we lost the match. So they go to Miz's dad. They raise his hands up. The crowd cheered until Shane McMahon turned on The Miz. Yes, we're going to see a heel Shane McMahon go against a babyface The Miz at WrestleMania. Why would WWE do that? Like, I don't understand, you know? The Miz does his best work as a heel. And Shane McMahon is better when he's a babyface, so he can sell and not do a lot of offense, just do a coast to coast and go through the announcer's table from the top turnbuckle, dropping the elbow. He kept on punching him for real, you know, he was shooting at him, just punching his head over and over and over again. And then he even attacked the Miz's dad at ringside. Who is excited to see this match at WrestleMania? I don't know who you guys are, but if you are, please mention in the comments below and tell me why you are excited to see Shane McMahon, a heel Shane McMahon, go against a babyface, The Miz. Anyways, Elias came out and he made fun of the city. So the Kofi stuff, he was standing outside of Vince McMahon's office. Then the New Day came in. They were like, what are you doing? He was like, I'm just waiting. I'm knocking on his door, but he's not responding to me. The New Day were like, so it has been an hour. You've just been standing, you know, outside Vince McMahon's office. He was like, yeah. So they just rushed in. They demanded Kofi Kingston to be in a match, and that match should be a triple threat. Vince McMahon said, okay, I agree. That match now is a triple threat match. The crowd cheered, and then he told Kofi Kingston he should go to the ring right now because the match will just start. Kofi Kingston goes to the ring. He's standing there. The crowd is cheering on like, yes, the WWE title is, you know, Kofi Kingston is in it. And then the ring announcer, he gets informed by someone on the outside that this match is a handicap match. Kofi Kingston going against the Bar, and both members of the Bar are going to be in the ring. Like, I think he forgot the word tornado handicap match. So both men be in the ring. And that's what happened. The Bar just destroyed Kofi Kingston. The New Day members, they came out to help Kofi, but they got attacked from behind from Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. Then the Bar did their finisher, and they won the match. What a way. What a way. Like, when I saw the handicap match, and I was like, this is just perfect. Because Kofi Kingston is going, you know, to have his comeuppance, is going to win the match. And say, hey, I defeated two guys who are former tag team champions. I should be in the WWE title picture. But no. He gets destroyed. They both even put their feet on Kofi Kingston's chest when they win. This wasn't good. I know they will do the build-up. You know, we have 4 weeks to go until WrestleMania, so they will do the build-up and find a way to have Kofi Kingston against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. They could have booked this better. If Kofi Kingston won here, he should have celebrated with the New Day, and on Smackdown, as a winner, he should demand the match against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. That could have been much better. Elias came out again. He made fun of Kofi and The Miz. Then we saw Aleister Black and Ricochet versus Bobby Roode and Chad Gable versus The Revival for the Raw Tag Team titles. This was some great stuff. I enjoyed every second of it. Bobby Roode and Aleister Black, they worked nicely with each other. Roode grabbed Black's feet and threw it into Scott Dawson's face. That looked nice. We saw a Chaos Theory from Gable, and Wilder followed that with a splash. Then we saw a huge dive from Ricochet, who jumped over the turnbuckle and landed on Bobby Roode, who was on the floor. Thankfully, Bobby Roode caught him, and he has a lot of power to catch Ricochet. But dude, please don't do that. You can die. Like, imagine if Bobby Roode was out of position and he didn't catch Ricochet mid-air. Ricochet can land on his head. So please, Ricochet, be careful when you do these stuff. Please. Then we saw a Shatter Machine from The Revival, and they retained the Raw Tag Team titles. The Revival are still champions, which I think it's a good thing. They should continue the feud. But I was thinking that Ricochet and Aleister Black, they're going to win the titles. They're going to give them the title maybe until WrestleMania and even beyond, so they can have a long feud with the Revival, because Tommaso Ciampa is injured, so Gargano, he's alone now, he can't be in the tag team division. But anyways, the match was great. I thought it was one of the better matches on the show, and I think the trend of good matches continued from here on. You know, after this we had some great matches, but the one in between, that's Becky Lynch and Charlotte, that match just sucked. So after the match, they attacked each other, and Ricochet did a 630 to send people happy and say, oh, a babyface team just got the better of things. And by the way, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, they were working as heels in this match. So I think they are a heel team now. The U.S.Title Fatal 4-Way match, this was also great. They had an awesome match on Smackdown, and I thought they can't top that. There's no way they can top that match on Smackdown. And over here, it was on the same level. It wasn't like better from that match, but it was on the same level. We saw a double Hurricane Rana from Rey Mysterio to both Truth and Andrade at the same time. Then a Tornado Ddt to Samoa Joe. the three amigos from Andrade, an awesome plancha too, a Uranage from Joe, double knees to Samoa Joe, a 5-knuckle shuffle from R-Truth, a 619 from Rey, but Joe moves away and does the Coquina clutch on Rey Mysterio that makes him fade out, and Samoa Joe retains the U.S. title on the show. This was just fucking great stuff. I was so happy that they changed the match. Like Rey Mysterio and Andrade, like they shouldn't be on the pre-show. They should be on the main card. They did this. And Samoa Joe having the U.S. title, man, it's like that title looks prestigious when it's on his chest. So I want to see this, like I was hoping to get like a new look for the U.S. title just for Samoa Joe. They make it look Samoan or something, you know, make it like specially for him. He should have a long run with the title. And the rumors say it's Samoa Joe versus John Cena at WrestleMania for the U.S. title. And I think if that match happens, man, that match is going to blow the roof off. Samoa Joe should retain the U.S. title and continue on. There's a lot of baby faces that they can face, you know, and he should have a long run. I love it, man. Samoa Joe as a champion is just great. Tamina Snuka and Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks and Bayley. This was for the women's tag team titles. Nia Jax botched a Samoan drop, and Sasha Banks did the crossbody onto the heels to the outside. They were like supposed to catch her, but they caught her at the last second. Like she was just to the floor, and they caught her at the last second. Bayley followed that with a suicide dive just to wipe them off. This match wasn't good. Like, it was really bad. Sasha Banks and Bayley, they are awesome wrestlers, but they need the other team to sell well for them, but they can't sell. They don't know how to sell. Then Bayley got the win with a roll-up. Thankfully, the match was over with. Nia Jax, after the match, we saw basically the heels. They attacked Sasha Banks and Bayley after the match. And Beth Phoenix, who was on commentary, she stood up and attacked both ladies just to help the baby faces out. And Nia Jax and Tamina double-teamed on Beth Phoenix. Even Nia Jax dropped the leg, brother. Natalya came out. She tried to help Beth Phoenix, but there was no point because the heels are going to destroy all the baby faces around them. Does this mean that Beth Phoenix is coming back and she's having a comeback, very soon in the ring, and she's going to team up with Natalya? I don't know, but I think if that happens, I was always a Beth Phoenix fan. I thought, she was great in the ring. She was one of the better wrestlers back in the day. So if she comes back and has a match with Tamina and Nia Jax, let's say at WrestleMania, that's gonna suck because Tamina and Nia Jax are going to win those matches. They're going to be booked strong because they are, the powerful Samoans, brother. I don't know why I said brother. But yeah, so if she comes back, that can be nostalgic and we can be happy about it. But if you think she's winning that match, I say no way. So the WWE title match, it was announced as a triple threat. So people got excited. Oh my God, they're going to give Kofi Kingston his chance. No! It was Mustafa Ali. He was added to the match. I said this in episode 194, that Mustafa Ali should at least somehow get a title shot because he defeated Daniel Bryan, I think, 3 times before he got injured. And that's what they did here. They shoehorned Mustafa Ali into the match. And I knew, from that moment, I knew for sure Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan, they're having their match at WrestleMania. Why? Because they're taking care of all the side stories with Kevin Owens and Mustafa Ali to be done with, and then Daniel Bryan will be all free to face Kofi Kingston one-on-one. And that's what's gonna happen. It kind of made me, happy. I was like, okay, whatever, they're screwing up the storyline, but we're going to get that match now. Even, before the match started, I knew Daniel Bryan is retaining the WWE title. So Daniel, he talked down to Kevin Owens and Mustafa Ali from the beginning of the match. We saw a cannonball from Kevin Owens to the floor on the outside. Mustafa Ali did a springboard move, but Daniel Bryan kicked him mid-air that made him fly into the barricade. That looked scary. The crowd was chanting for Kofi throughout the match. We saw a reverse Rana from Mustafa Ali to Kevin Owens that landed on his head. Then a stunner to Mustafa Ali, but Daniel Bryan broke that up. A pop-up powerbomb for a near fall. A 450 splash on the apron, but Rowan pulled Daniel Bryan out on a 2 count. Then we see Mustafa Ali jumping off and doing a Tornado Ddt from the top rope to Daniel Bryan to the floor. That looked risky, but beautiful at the same time. A pop-up powerbomb to Mustafa Ali to the apron. Shades of Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. A running knee to Mustafa Ali, and Daniel Bryan retains the WWE title. The match was great. I'm telling you, like some of these matches at this pay-per-view in particular are really good. Now to the main event. Before the main event, Elias made fun of Becky Lynch until Lacey Evans came out. She walked to the ring and walked back as usual. Then we saw an RKO out of nowhere from Randy Orton to Elias. Followed that, a phenomenal forearm from AJ Styles to Randy. I guess for their feud to continue. I think on Smackdown is going to be official. I've been begging to have a House of Horrors 2 between Randy Orton and AJ Styles. I know many of you have been, no, that was bad, that was awful between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. I was like, I know, but now they have Jeremy Borash. Now they have Matt Hardy. Now they have all these people who were in Impact and did those awesome, the delete or decay videos from Impact, you know, the deletion videos from Matt Hardy, because I can't remember the first video, what it's called, between Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, that was just amazing. These guys who did those are now in WWE, so they can make something special. Imagine a phenomenal forearm from the top of the tree that AJ Styles just lands on Randy Orton, or Randy Orton doing an RKO on the top of a truck. Those stuff can be amazing. So we already have 7 hours on WrestleMania, so why not we do a House of Horror match? Why not? Anyways, the main event, The Shield versus Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is in the main event of one of the pay-per-views for WWE. Who would have thought that? Who? This is... Oh man, that's hilarious to me. The Shield came down from the crowd. Seth did his ninja roll from the barricade, and the match started. We saw double team maneuvers from the Shield members, shades of the old days. They worked on Seth Rollins for a while until a hot tag to Dean Ambrose, who worked nicely with Drew McIntyre. He dropped an elbow from the top rope to the floor to Drew. That looked, that it hurt. I think that elbow connected too hard on Drew McIntyre. Man, Dean Ambrose was so motivated here. Does that mean he renewed with WWE? I don't know, but he was really motivated. He did the moves well. He was happy to be in the ring. It was weird. Or maybe he's happy because he's leaving. I said this before. Dean Ambrose shouldn't stay in WWE. He should leave, go to the Indies for a year or 2 years, have his run there and then come back, because he needs that motivation to be, in the ring again. And in WWE, if we're being honest here, when it comes to the Shield, he is the third wheel. The number 1 guy is Roman Reigns, the number 2 guy is Seth Rollins, and then it's Dean Ambrose, unfortunately. Then we saw a spear from Bobby Lashley, a flatline or 2, and Dean Ambrose suplexed Drew McIntyre and got a hot tag to the big dog. We saw a drive-by from Roman Reigns, a double suicide dives, a deep 6 to Roman. Dean Ambrose from the announcer's table jumped onto Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. They continued through the crowd. We saw Roman Reigns and Corbin resuming in the ring. A Superman punch to Baron Corbin. Then the heels came back. We saw a stomp to Bobby Lashley and a triple powerbomb to Drew McIntyre through one of the announcer's tables. We saw Dirty Deeds in the ring and a triple powerbomb to Baron Corbin in the ring for the Shield to win the match. There was no turn from Dean Ambrose or nothing. They just did the Shield fisting and they ended the show. I was expecting Dean Ambrose to turn here so they can set up the match between him and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. But maybe they're gonna do it on Monday Night Raw. So we have to wait until tomorrow. If they do Dean Ambrose or Roman Reigns, that can be great. But the rumor is Roman Reigns is facing Baron Corbin at WrestleMania. Another question to the fans and the listeners. Please, who is excited to see Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin at WrestleMania? Mention in the comments below and tell me why you're excited. With that being said, guys, thank you very much for tuning in and listening to the podcast. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, it will help me a lot. Always and forever, don't forget that you're one sweet